Hey, I hope everybody had a great 4th of July. Over the holiday, I think something happened that might have seemed insignificant, and it hasn't gotten a lot of play in the news, but I think it's actually a really big deal and has a lot of implications for what's ahead in the 2022 and 2024 election. President Biden made a tweet, or his staff made a tweet, and I wanted to talk about this because I think it's potentially a death rattle moment, certainly an inflection point for Joe Biden and his current term. He said on the 2nd of July, "My message to the companies running gas stations and setting prices at the pump is simple. This is a time of war and global peril. Bring down the prices that you're charging at the pump to reflect the cost that you're paying for the product, and do it now." The responses to that tweet were just, of course, they're priceless, right? Here's a couple. "Thank you for this tweet, Mr. President. My local gas stations all dropped their prices $2 instantly because they had your tweet notification on." Here's another one. "Dude, we're not in a communist country. I run a gas station. It's not us." "Bro, is this you?" My personal favorite. "Even the person who wrote this tweet knows it's complete bullshit and gas stations don't control what they ultimately can charge. People aren't this stupid." But what's interesting, what I want to call out, is what Jeff Bezos said in response to that. Of course, Jeff Bezos is not just the founder of Amazon and a billionaire. He also has 4.8 million followers on Twitter, which actually isn't that many given his stature and his background. But he also owns the Washington Post. And he's on the center left and not part of this radical movement that's taken over the Democrat Party. Jeff Bezos is basically coming out with a tweet that rebukes the sitting president. And so that's why I say this is a death rattle moment. He said, "Ouch. Inflation is far too important of a problem for the White House to keep making statements like this. It's either straight ahead misdirection or deep misunderstanding of basic market dynamics." It might be both, Mr. Bezos. It might be both. But the fact that he's coming out and saying this out loud is, I think, what's so important here and what's so interesting. Because if you lose people that are millionaires and billionaires on the center left, people that happen to own major corporations like the Washington Post or Blue Origin, it, I think, indicates to me that they've lost complete faith in the president. And if you think about the fact that he's just 1.5 years into a 4-year term, what does this mean for his ability to get things done? Because really, we're bearing down on the midterms. We're 4 or 5 months out. If he's not able to get anything done in the first 1.5 years, when his political capital is at its highest, what kind of hope can he have to get anything done after Republicans, presumably do well in the fall? I guess we don't know that for certain, but if history's a guide, that Nancy Pelosi will not be the Speaker of the House at the beginning of next year. And so it just, what it means to me is that he's already a lame duck president. He's 1.5 years into a 4-year term, and he's a lame duck president. And I think the Democrats have already decided that he cannot and should not run into 2024. So if you think about the whole cycle, as soon as the midterms ends here in a couple months, and we'll run into the holidays, the beginning of the new year really is the beginning of the 2024 presidential campaign. And so my read on this is Jeff Bezos is signaling to anybody that might be considering running for president, please do something about this guy. We need somebody that's more serious in the White House, because we're going to get our butts handed to us if he's going to be the nominee. And so I think the long knives are out for Joe Biden. They actually don't really care about Joe Biden. They never did. And he's outlived his usefulness. So I expect to see more and more bad press coming out about him, and more voices that have been on the perimeter, like Jeff Bezos, speaking more loudly and rebuking the president more vehemently. So those are some of my comments. What are your thoughts? Is Joe Biden finished? Does he still have the full faith and confidence of his Democrat base? Is he just a useful tool and they don't really care who's president, just as long as they're pliable? Your thoughts?